Let's be brutally honest. Our learning systems are stuck in 19th century. Memorize, regurgitate, forget and repeat. We are not taught to learn. We are taught to perform. And when the test is over, so is the learning. Have you ever read a chapter, watched a video, even highlighted the hell out of it, only to remember nothing 2 days later? You know, that's not because your brain's failing, that's the system failing you. At DCODLabs, we have developed the synthesis loop, a method for everyone who wants to own what they learn. It builds curiosity, not just memory, and turns your mind into a creator, not a container. Most of us were taught to study like downloading a PDF, read, highlight, hope it sticks, then try to print it later. That's not learning. That's data stuffing, push in, push out, which is why most people forget what they learn because they never really learned it in the first place. And this isn't your average study hack video. This is a framework, a loop, a system. And once you learn it, you'll never forget anything meaningful again. So, thinkers, watch this video till the end, and also before moving ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon. Let's give credit where it's due. There are modern methods out there that beat passive reading. These three in particular stand out. Spaced repetition. You review material at scientifically spaced intervals so your brain recalls it right before it forgets. It's like scheduling tiny mental jogs for your memory muscles. Super effective, but it works best with surface level recall, not deep conceptual learning. Second, active recall. You test yourself without looking at the notes. Think of flashcards, mental quizzes, Feynman technique. You're training retrieval, which strengthens your neural pathways. But again, this builds access, not necessarily understanding. And third, interleaving. Instead of focusing on one topic for an hour, you switch between related ones, say calculus and physics, or design and philosophy. It stimulates real-world applications, but it can get messy without a base framework holding it all together. Each is powerful but isolated. They are tactics. What we need is a system, a learning operating system. This is where the synthesis loop comes in. Now, before we start the synthesis loop, imagine you're about to launch a rocket. You don't just light the engine, you prep the launch pad. So here is the DCODLab checklist for your personal learning zone. First, no distractions. Silent your devices, close tabs, block alerts. Your attention is oxygen. Protect it. Second, zone setup. Your brain links environment to activities. Design a space that screams, this is where the growth happens. Third, resources within the reach. Books, pens, sticky notes, sketch pads, everything you might need should be within arm's distance. Fourth, mental state check. Are you alert or foggy, hydrated, comfortable? If your body isn't ready, your mind won't fire. Fifth, intention over duration. Don't just study for 2 hours. Come up with a mission. What do you want to walk away with? Once your learning zone is ready, we launch into the most powerful learning loop. What's this synthesis loop all about? The synthesis loop is DCODLab's 5-step framework that transforms learning from a one-time event into a living, breathing process. It's about triggering real learning that evolves, deepens, and keeps your curiosity alive. The 5 stages are as follows. Comprehension, taking in the idea. Decoding, breaking it into your own understanding. Assimilation, embedding the core essence of the concept. Construct, creating something from it. And curiosity builder, feeding back questions to refine and grow. Together, they form a cycle where every insight fuels the next, making learning continuous, curiosity-driven, and impossible to forget at its core. First, comprehension. Input mode. Comprehension is more than just absorbing information. It's learning to listen deeply to what the content is really trying to communicate. Think of it like watching a movie. You don't just observe the scenes, you feel the tension, notice the foreshadowing, and sense what's not being said. When you read a book or watch a lecture, don't just focus on the definitions or facts. Pay attention to the underlying logic, the emotional tone, and the structure. Ask questions like, why is this concept introduced here? What is the big question this idea is trying to answer? The aim is not to finish fast, but to get inside the mind of the creator. Second, decoding, processing mode. This is where the magic of meaning making begins. Once you have received the information, now you personalize it, break it apart, rearrange it, and explain it in your own style. Imagine you are handed a puzzle box. Decoding is sorting out the pieces, understanding their shape, and seeing what fits where. Use analogies that make sense to you. You can turn it into a story. The more creative and personal you get here, the more brain circuits you activate, and the stronger the imprints become. This is the difference between reading about a concept and grabbing it by the roots. Third, assimilation, embedding the essence of the concept. Assimilation is not rote memorization, it's internalization. It's about holding the core essence of a concept so tightly that you could rebuild it from scratch if needed. You strip the fluff and ask, what is the fundamental insight here? You practice summarizing it in different lengths, 3 sentences, 1 sentences, even 3 words. You recall it after a walk, in the shower, or while explaining it to a friend. At this stage, the concept doesn't just stay in your head, it starts living in your intuition. You don't try to remember it anymore, it just shows up when you need it. Fourth, construct, creating output. Here, you test the depths of your understanding by building something from it. It could be a mind map, a blog post, a whiteboard sketch, a tweet thread, or even just a bullet point list in your notes. The key is make it visible. When you construct, you reveal the gaps. You may stumble mid-sentence or realize you forgot a step. That's perfectly normal. That's the mind showing you what's still missing. Output turns vague ideas into sharp form. And remember, construction isn't about perfection. It's about externalizing your thought process so it can be sharpened and reshaped. For this, I recommend you guys to watch our video, Awesome Note-Taking Systems, that complements this synthesis loop method. Now, the final stage. Fifth, curiosity builder, feedback plus loop reinforcer. This final stage is where most learners stop short, and it's exactly where long-term learning truly begins. Once you have constructed your understanding, you loop back in with questions. You ask, what am I assuming? What doesn't sit right yet? What could challenge this idea? You might revisit the source, test your understanding against a new example, or explore an opposing viewpoint. This creates a natural tension that compels you to dig deeper. The moment you question your construct, your brain shifts from I know this to I want to know this even better. Forever. This is where the loop closes and opens again, or now you may call it the synthesis spiral. If you understand it now, learning itself is like a spiral that never ends but goes deeper with every new insight, fact, or ray of epiphany. So, why does this work better than traditional methods? Because it's aligned with how the brain actually learns, not how schools try to teach. First, dual coding theory. Combining visual and verbal input creates stronger memory links. In the synthesis loop, decoding and construct uses sketches, diagrams, and verbal explanations, activating multiple brain regions. This dual input locks the concept in place more firmly than words alone. Second, the testing effect. Retrieving information strengthens retention more than rereading. Construct and curiosity builder push you to recall, explain, and question without looking, deepening neural pathways and making the knowledge truly yours. Third, cognitive load theory. Reducing overload allows the brain to process better. The synthesis loop breaks learning into 5 focus stages, ensuring each mental task is clear, preempting burnout and sustaining curiosity after each session. Fourth, Neuroplasticity. The brain grows with reflection and novelty. By revisiting concepts through the curiosity builder stage, the loop creates fresh perspectives each time, sparking new neural growth and deepening your understanding. And fifth, self explanation and metacognition. Reflecting on what you know improves learning. The loop's curiosity builder forces you to question your own thinking, exposing gaps and building self awareness that leads to mastery. The synthesis loop isn't just a study technique, it's a philosophy, a shift from trying to remember everything to trying to understand anything deeply. I urge you thinkers to use this method and see the shift in your own learning process. Most people collect knowledge, few people construct it, and even fewer build a relationship with what they learn. And that's exactly what this method unlocks. Drop a comment if you're ready to loop your mind into mastery. If you like the synthesis loop method, give us a like, hit subscribe along with the bell, and share this for creating endless knowledge. Join our exclusive Decode based Discord, a space to connect, question, and build together. Also, follow us on Instagram for more creative insights. The links for all this are in the description. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.